Now I think about what our mission and vision statement for Pius is. And our mission is to help these students, but our vision, to form them at every level, especially in their faith in Christ, but to build them up on every level of their living. But our vision says to graduate men and women who will experience the joy of an authentic, Christ-centered life of service. And I was on the strategic planning committee that 8 years ago we revised all those things, and so all that, like, oh my gosh, just come up with something, But I really love that vision. Graduate men and women who experience the joy of authentic Christ-centered life of service, in which they use their gifts to help others know and love God. And I think about Paul and Rosemary and what they handed on to their family. And what an incredible gift. It also leads me into our next award, which for the Outstanding Alumnus. And it's my privilege to have known Stan for 28 years, I think, when I first came to St. Joe's as an assistant. And got to know him and his family there a little bit as an assistant, and now I've come full circle when I came back in 2007. In the last 5 years, I've lived back at St. Joseph's in residence. And quiet man of service. Stan is a 1971 grad of Pius X High School, and graduated. His parents were both immigrants from Poland, and sent their children through St. Teresa's and Pius X High School. And his two sisters are here today with him, and I want to recognize them. We have Donna Bader, who's of Lincoln, and Janina Lisinski of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and her husband is with her as well. So I want to thank you for being here with Stan. And there are three children, Stan and Mary, his wife Mary here, and just raising their incredible family. His three children, Andy is an assistant professor of school psychology at Oregon, University of Oregon, or he was. This was a few years ago. Is he still? He's in Madison, Wisconsin now. And then there are two daughters who are here. Betsy Rawson. Betsy. And you live here in Lincoln? Omaha. Very good. And then we also have his other daughter who is here, Angela, and her husband, Russell, who live here in Lincoln. So welcome all of them and thank them for being here. Stan has worked and been involved in partnerships, and he was, interestingly, I saw him and Sister Jacqueline talking when I walked in, and Sister Jacqueline used to be in the banking world before she went to convent, and worked with Stan in the banking world. Stan worked in the banking world, and then he went to the Department of Agriculture for Nebraska. And in his work there in the Department of Agriculture, just done so many incredible things. He's been involved in building partnerships around the world with companies, individuals, foreign governments, and anyone else interested in high-quality food products for livestock, grain and beans, and for people, beef, pork, and other products. He's been throughout the early 80s and on, he has been out in the world promoting Nebraska and promoting agriculture. His personality and boundless energy have allowed him to be the face of Nebraska agriculturally and internationally. His care for people around the world has built bridges not only for Nebraska, but for the United States as well. He frequently brings international visitors to his home for dinner, which is a rarity in most other countries. Stan has opened new markets and expanded existing markets for Nebraska producers and processors. He has worked to bring together Nebraska ag sellers in conjunction with Nebraska's governors and directors of the Nebraska Department of Agriculture. to potential buyers in, listen to this, in Japan, China, Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, Brazil, Argentina, Israel, Russia, Great Britain, Germany, Italy, France, Cuba, Australia, Belgium, Chile, Estonia, Macau, Malaysia, Mexico, Singapore, Turkey, and other countries. He also has been successful in bringing buying missions to Nebraska from China, Argentina, Cuba, Germany, United Kingdom, Ghana, Taiwan, Brazil, Italy, Japan, Israel, Russia, Vietnam, Hong Kong, and other countries as well. Now, one of the incredible things, and you probably read about it in your program, is the 100 to 150,000 miles a year that he would put on traveling and doing agriculture work in Nebraska. Always found a Catholic church. Again, I think about that mission and that vision. Experience the joy of authentic Christ-centered life of service in which you use your gifts to help others know and love God. And oftentimes, he would invite his people that he was journeying with from throughout the United States and from other countries to join him. And I would imagine oftentimes he did not understand the language that the Mass was being said in, but knew that Christ was present in a special way in the Blessed Sacrament. And that witness of can be a public servant and to be a strong Catholic ambassador. Some of the awards that he has received include the 2006, the recipient of the Award of Merit by the Nebraska Agricultural Youth Institute. 1989, graduate of Nebraska Leadership Education Action Development Program. 1995, the Manager of the Year from the Nebraska State Government Chapter National Management Association. But one of the really cool things to read about was his award that he won in 2014. And this is from the remarks made by Chuck Ross, who is Secretary of the Vermont Department of Agriculture, at the awards banquet. He said, the third and final award to be presented this evening is the James A. Graham Award for Outstanding Service to Agriculture. This award is presented to individuals who are in positions providing services to agricultural producers. The recipient of this year's James A. Graham Award has devoted his career and life to promoting the agricultural industry and agricultural products from his state, both domestically and internationally. Traveling well over 100,000 miles per year and visiting numerous countries, he promotes his state's agriculture and products and tees up trade missions for his governor and director. More importantly, he has developed scores of relationships with importers, foreign government officials, U.S. agricultural trade associations, and overseas USDA FAS personnel who are in a position to solve problems and help move product. Equally important, he has also developed numerous relationships with livestock producers and farmers in his state. He understands their needs and how to help them understand that they can benefit from international opportunities. He understands the personal touch and routinely entertains international visitors in his home. This year's recipient is creative and innovative. In 2008, when his state dry bean producers was suddenly unable to sell their product at any price, he facilitated the USDA's purchase of a product under Section 32 authority and then researched the situation. After determining that the problem was caused by China selling most of their supply on the international market instead of using it domestically, he worked with the USDA FAS in China and the Chinese government to demonstrate that using the dry beans in domestic noodle production and instant noodle cups would facilitate better nutrition for the Chinese consumers. As a result of this plan, China is gradually using more of their crop domestically, which opens the market opportunities for all, while improving nutrition for Chinese consumers. In addition to promoting products, this year's recipient is active in a state agricultural youth council and the Boy Scout. He serves on the advisory committee of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln Food Service and Technology and Food Processing, and is a board member of the Nebraska Land Foundation. Stan Garbacz is a very, very good man who serves the public, and he does it with great humility. So I want to congratulate and welcome to the stage Stan Garbacz.
Goodness, a little embarrassing to say the least. But I have just a couple of things, and I wanted to say Father Weisenberg did a nice job at saying some of those. First of all, I do want to thank Father Weisenberg for his willingness to present this to me, since we have known each other for a long time. I had already told him some of the things I was going to say up here about him, but as I told him, my wife has done a lot of wonderful things for me, and one thing Mary has done is to help me learn to listen and think before I talk. And so I think Father Weisenberg, after hearing some of the stories, thought it would be better that I listen to my wife again. But in all seriousness, Father Weisenberg's been a great friend. He's a great priest. He resides at St. Joe's, where Mary and I go. And it's always a pleasure when you see him coming down the center, knowing that he'll be able to do our Mass. And then, as I always say, and Mary and I always say, listen to him just talk to us after the gospel. It's always enlightening, it's always encouraging, and we always walk away feeling a little better than we did when we got there. So, Father Weisenberg, thank you very, very much for that. I do tell him sometime what a special job he does when I go up for communion, and tell him before he gives me the host what a great job he did. But anyway, I try not to do that too often. But in all seriousness, thank you very much. And I can remember when Kristen called me, I was a little shocked, to say the least, to get the call. And when I had a chance to talk with Mary about it, who received a similar award from Lincoln High back in 2012, we had quite a discussion. But if I could just very quickly, again, because they mean so much to me, my family. They are so supportive, and I would not have been able to do anything without not only their love and support, but all the suggestions, all the help they gave me through all this. My daughter Betsy, as Father Weisenberg already introduced her, and my great son-in-law Jeff, and my great grandson Sebastian. And what I want to say is, I'm sure everybody that has kids here probably says the same thing as Mary and I do. We've got wonderful, great kids, and I can't say that enough. Our daughter, as you heard, Angela, and my great son-in-law, Russell, they're both here at Lincoln, and a point of personal privilege, my daughter has goldenrod pastries here at 48th and Prescott. Great place to be. But anyway, as he says, I have two sisters, Donna Vader, who's the oldest in the family, my sister Janina, and her husband Ed, both from Milwaukee. I do have a son. They couldn't be here today. They are up in Madison, Wisconsin. My daughter-in-law, Laura, and I've got a great 3-year-old granddaughter up there, Lucy, who we have a lot of fun with. I also would like to introduce Mary's brother, my brother-in-law, John Carriato, and my sister-in-law, Penny Carriato, and they're both here at Lincoln also. And there's nobody in that group that I can't thank enough for everything that they've done for me. It's been a long time since we've been here, and I was glad to see some classmates here, some other folks that have been to Pius about the same time. But particularly for my classmates, if I could just tell everybody else about a difficult, unique situation we had. As we were going through our schools, our junior highs, I went to St. Teresa's, And we were just getting top of the food chain. We were 8th graders, we were going to be 9th graders, and finally to the top of the food chain. And then what did they do? They started a 9th grade class here at Pius. So from almost being there, we got shoved down to the bottom of the pole again. And but we made it. It just made us better people, Father Meisenberg. But we had a lot of fun here at Pius, and we survived. But through all this already, sorry. Father Meisberg saved you guys a lot of time from listening to me. But as I said, when I found out about this from Kristen, and I really appreciate her patience, I don't know how many emails, it was really kind of fun where I don't do social media or anything very much, but you always hear about all these people that meet people online and everything. And we had quite a relationship going. I mean, there was emails going back and forth. I always have a lot of questions, and she was always so patient with me. And no matter how stupid the question, I usually have a lot of those, she would reply in a very nice way, and God bless you, Stan, at the end was always a nice way to end it. But once it came, and Mary and I had a chance to sit and visit about it, and her Distinguished Alumni Award from Lincoln High, and now me, and we kind of wondered, what did we do, why did we do it, and how were we able to do it? Mary spent many years, over 30 years, at the University of Nebraska teaching. Father Meisenberg, in probably excruciating detail for some of you, told you a little bit of what I had the opportunity to do. And it was for the greater good. I think that, as he said in his opening remarks, that's what we're all here to do, for the greater good. And I think through the work that we did in our own way, that's what we did. There's a lot of people that need to be educated, need to be taught. My wife did a lot of life lessons in her class in addition to the technical writing she taught her students. Through my work, I tried to help feed people. And it's always kind of interesting, and I'm not going on much longer, so don't worry, but I just realized many, many years ago that everybody was the same. You know, you watch TV and people talk to me when I come back or I give presentations, says, how can you deal with those Chinese, or how can you deal with those Russians? What about the Cubans? What about this? And all the people that you hear about here. I never worked with those people. I met some of those people, but I didn't work with them. It was the people I worked with were people just like us. They were just trying to live the life in Christ, try to make a better life for their kids than they have themselves, and they just wanted to do something good for the greater good. But I'll tell you, when we came down to the point of Mary's and my discussion about how could we have done this, it all came back to 4 people I can't introduce here tonight, or this afternoon. Is Mary's parents and my parents, Joe and Helen Cariato, and Katarzyna and Jan Garbacz. Very difficult lives they lived, and how they did what they did, I don't have any idea. Mary's parents grew up in the worst part of the Depression. They had not only to fend for themselves, but they had to take care of their families also. My parents, as Father Meisenberg said, yes, they did come from Poland, but via the German army taking them to Germany during World War II to work as slave laborers. And there's a story behind that, but they were God willing and God watched over them, got them to the United States with my 2 sisters, and then to Nebraska, where I was born. And it was them and what they did for us that made Mary and I who we are today. And those are the ones that I can't thank enough today. But and so, in addition, I'd like to thank all of you for coming. The classmates that are here, thanks for coming. It means a lot to me to see you here. And as I end, I'd like to tell all of you, I hope God blesses each and every one of us. But more importantly, I was thinking about this early. I think about this every day, and right along with what Father Meisenberg said today, I think that we need to look and not only pray for ourselves and not only pray for the people in need most, but we need to pray for the people that have a decision to make, whether there's going to be peace or terror or violence, and pray that they make the decision to have peace. But thank you so much. Father Meisenberg, Kristen, thank you so much. This is a little bit overwhelming for me. I never thought I'd have a picture on the wall for that. I looked at the other people on there, and I was telling Bernie, I said, it's kind of a little bit awesome to have mine next to him for being what a great guy and for a great person he's been. But again, thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you very much for Pius, Kristen. Thank you very much, and Father Meisenberg.